All right. Well, afternoon. Good afternoon. Beautiful afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. What's wrong? Of the Knit State of Mind podcast. This is episode 28. I'm Wanda.
And I'm Heather.
And we welcome you back. Thank you for your patience. It's been under a month this time. So I think the 1 month mark might be it for us these days. So thanks for everyone
Yeah.
who's been continuing to hang out with us. We appreciated your comments on last week, the last episode. Those who were like, we're in it with you for the long haul. So we really appreciate that. Um, we have a few things to share with you today, and I guess we should do. Do we want to do our socials, even though we're
Sure, we don't use them a lot, but we can follow us at Knit State of Mind on Instagram, which is mostly Wanda. I am Heather T3 on Instagram and also Heather T on Ravelry.
cool? And I am Waddy Watts on Ravelry and Zest in Class and Knit State of Mind on Instagram. All
And
right.
we're coming from the Bay Area in California, in case you're new here. Welcome. We live in Oakland. Well, Wanda just moved to Berkeley. We live in the Bay Area.
The East Bay.
Yeah,
East,
the East Bay.
yeah, yeah. Good stuff. Cool. All right. Well, you have to kick us off and tell us about what you're wearing because it's
Yes, I am wearing my finished Twigs by Junko Okamoto, and I'll just stand up and show it off a little bit. So here's what it looks like in all its glory.
it's so beautiful.
So I am so in love with this. I just love how it came out. Let's see. Oh, there's a good view of it here. You can see it bigger. Um, so if you've been watching us for a while, you'll remember that I made another version of this. Sorry for the jostling of my camera. I made another version of this about a year ago. And I brought that one. I'll show it in a minute. But this one is made out of Sweet Sparrow yarn in like a mystery color that I got at a discount. And then there is some sparkly, like cream color sparkle. And that's Forbidden Fibre Company. And then there's Madelinetosh Antler is like the plain white. I don't know. The sparkle doesn't maybe really show up as much on camera,
Yeah.
but it's there.
Sparkles. I can't wait to see it in person.
Especially out in the sun, it's just like very sparkly and nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love this pattern obviously because I made it twice. I feel like it really looks good on everybody too. It's like I feel like every time I see anybody on Instagram or oh hi Alf.
He's like, let me get out of here.
Anytime I see anybody on Instagram or YouTube or Ravelry in a Twigs, I just feel like it always is amazing. Well, that's why I had to make a second one. Um, so yeah, I knit this on size 0 needles. And I got
Can't believe it.
exactly yeah, but I got this. So this is exactly the pattern gauge. The pattern gauge is 30 stitches over 4 inches. Um, and I had to use size 0. I think the pattern says to use size 2 or something, but for me, I used size 0 to get that gauge. So I really like the fit of this one. I'll stand up one more time. Um, and so it is a one size pattern. So just for reference, I have about a 42-inch bust. So this is how, if you knit it to the gauge, this is how it fits me. Um, and then this is the one I had knit before. The one I knit before, I knit at a larger gauge, so it's quite a bit bigger. So you can kind of see the difference, but I really like how this one fits too. It's just like a different fit, right? It's more oversized. This one I knit out of Jamieson and Smith Shetland yarn. But yeah, so there's a lot you can do with the pattern if you knit it to the gauge. It's like a little bit, it's not like close fitting, but it's more cropped, I guess.
Mhm.
And then if you want to make it bigger, just knit it to a bigger gauge, and it
Yeah.
still looks good.
What
Yeah,
size needle did you use for the first one again?
I think I used a size 1 for that.
Okay. So still
So
smaller.
yeah,
It's so
I
impressive.
still use a tiny needle. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean it did take me a while. Like that one took me like 3 months, and this one I think when I was updating my Ravelry page, I think I started this in February, and
Yeah.
it was done for a few weeks before I finally wove in the ends. But so it probably took me like 5 months to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's quite the commitment, but it's so worth it.
Worth it, yeah.
Now you have two different versions. And I mean, it's what you said because I'm in love with this one now.
Yeah, I know. I have to scoot back so more of it can show. But yeah, I really love it, and I think it looks good in all different color combinations. Like this one is the main part is cream, and then the color is on the pattern, and this one, the main color is the dark color, and the white is the pattern, and
Yeah.
yeah,
It's hard to say that you like it one way or the other, so you just kind of need to knit two.
right, or
If
three.
you
I'm already like, oh no, I
if
don't.
you have Heather's skills.
I am ready to work on something else. But it is really enjoyable. I mean, this color work chart is like a repeat of like 80, so that definitely takes a long time. But other than that, most of the color work charts are pretty, I mean, you can see it's pretty repetitive.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not
That's
actually
so that but that's a good knit to keep you like in the groove and concentrated on that instead of wandering some. Yeah.
yeah. And there's not a ton of shaping because it is just kind of this like A-line yoke shaping. So
Yeah.
it's not difficult in terms of the shaping or anything. The only thing that makes it challenging is this really long color work part.
Yeah. Any particular tips on floats there, or was it just catching every five and it was pretty straightforward? I'm
Show you my floats. I actually do not catch my floats on sweaters.
Oh.
So there are some places like down here where the floats are super long. Um, I just have to be careful when I put it on not to catch my
Yeah.
fingers in those. But the reason I don't is because I feel like I get more puckering if I do catch my floats, and so I have developed a pretty good method of like smoothing out the stitches every few stitches so that the floats don't get too tight. So yeah, I actually, unless I'm making a mitten, I don't usually catch my floats.
Okay. I'm not sure if I knew that, but I appreciate that. As someone who's still slowly, potentially venturing into color work knitting. Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
mean, I'm sure there's lots of like YouTube tutorials about how to catch your floats so that you don't get that puckering, but for me, I just don't catch them.
yeah, I imagine. I mean, it's about just kind of how you hold it and tension it. So,
Hmm.
but whatever, we'll see.
Yep.
So
So anyway,
is this your first time wearing it, or
it is. I mean, it's too warm today, really, to wear. But since we're recording,
yeah,
yeah. I'm probably gonna wear it tomorrow and go take some pictures, and then I'll probably put it away until it actually gets
yeah,
cool enough to. I mean, it is fingering weight, so it's not super warm. Like I'm not like dying of heat stroke right now, but I
yeah,
wouldn't normally be wearing it.
yeah.
Yeah, at Labor Day
Okay,
weekend here. Yeah.
it's a treat. It's a treat. Okay, so I have a close to finished object in that I have to weave in the ends and block it. But there's no rush because it's not sweater wearing weather yet. But I
Yes.
I always mean to change this to do the mirroring thing correctly because but anyway,
Oh
this
my gosh, it looks great.
is completely done.
What's the name of the pattern again?
Okay, so this is the Lodestar sweater. It's in, well, I can't even say the latest. It's in the spring summer issue of Pom Pom where they had like the birds. I think it was a theme around birds or flight or something.
Hmm.
And so this is knit in Julie Aslin. I forget which one, but DK yarn. In the saffron color. I think that might be the colorway. This is my go-to color. It's a DK weight yarn. I use US 6 needles, which is what the pattern called for. And then I don't know if you all remember last episode, I talked about the hem at the bottom because it was flaring out. So I did go back and rip it out. Um, the pattern, I think, had you use the regular needle size and then bind off with a smaller needle, but I ended up switching to a US 4 for
Hmm.
doing, and it's twisted rib. So I did this in US 4. And then when I first did the cuff on the sleeve, that felt like it just wasn't cinching in. It was too wide. So I ended up doing these on a US 3.
Okay.
And I really like it. And I think I made them a little bit longer than the pattern called. Oh yeah, the sleeves are in the pattern come up a little bit higher, but I wanted them to be full length sleeves. What else? The fit is good. Future episode, I guess I'll
We'll
wait.
see you. Yeah.
Yeah, yoked pattern. And I showed you last time when it's unfolded, it's pretty much a star. So points in the front, back, and on each of the shoulders. So yeah, that's my Lodestar, and I should be able to tell you the designer's name, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I don't have that issue of pom pom handy, but the rib looks a lot better, I think, now that you went down. So I think that was worth it to rip that out and do it again.
That made a difference. And then you all noticed from last time, oh, you can see, so it looks fine on the sleeves for the most part, but right here is kind of like a horizon,
Yeah.
which I'm fine. Yeah.
But at least it's not, I feel like at least it's right under the arm, so it almost looks intentional.
This is the front, my fault. Um, yeah,
Right? Like if it because it's like right there under the arms, it almost looks like you meant to do it. So that's
yeah.
that's good.
And the other thing I had forgotten to mention is that there is short row shaping on the back, and it's German short rows. And I feel like when I put it on, I did kind of notice maybe some like small gaps, but we'll see what happens when I block it out.
I bet it'll look okay when you block it out.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned.
Anyways, you're not looking at the back of your sweater, right? So
Yeah.
who cares?
Oh, and what I did with this that Heather noticed when we were knitting the other day is I had kept I mean, it served as a life, not really a lifeline, but when the stitches, when it was on hold, I kept that for both sleeves because it allowed me to just be able to easily count my stitches and make sure each sleeve matched up with each other. I was
That's
also telling Heather I'm contemplating getting the Chiago shorty set because as I was magic looping my sleeves, I was like, oh my god, this would go so much faster if I just had like 9 inches or shorter needles. So yeah.
yeah. That was such a good idea to leave the sleep. I mean, on this sweater you don't need it because you're doing a pattern, so you can keep track by that. But I always end up either just constantly counting or putting in like stitch markers every 10 rows, which I hate because that slows me down because you gotta stop and put it in. And so the idea of just leaving that thread in, that's such a good idea.
Yep. And
Yeah.
I used on the second sleeve, I used the stitch marker towards the end. Like I think I counted and I had like 91. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a stitch marker and I know I need to do however
10 more or whatever.
30
Yeah.
more. It was like 30 more or something like that. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the low start. I have a feeling it's gonna be a fave, but we'll see.
Yeah. We're both ready for fall.
We
Yeah.
are, we are. Um,
Um, I have a couple other FOs.
okay.
Um, the first one is these socks.
Ooh.
So I had told you that I was going to make you guess the color name of this yarn. So any guesses?
Oh God, you
The,
did tell me that, and now I'm
the
on the
blue the blue didn't come with it. I added the blue.
Sunkiss, Sunburst, Starburst,
So
Cream
that's a good. No, it's a fruit.
Tangerine.
It's cantaloupe.
I was literally about to say
I
Cantaloupe.
said it.
That was the next guess.
Yeah. As I was knitting it, so this is from Tiny Human Knits, self-striping yarn, and this was actually on her seconds. Sometimes she sells like seconds, and it was like $7 a ball.
Love it.
I can't figure out what's wrong with it. Like it looks fine to me.
Your win.
So I was just got it and I immediately cast it on because I just love the colors so much. I mean, obviously it has orange and I do love cantaloupe. And then I was trying to figure out what to use for the heels and toes, and I had this blue that I thought looked really nice with it. So
Those are fun.
yeah, so
Transition.
finished those. What's that?
You transition from summer to fall.
Yeah. So those are for me, and I did buy two because they were so inexpensive. I bought two balls of it, so I did start another one, another pair, and these will probably be for my mom because my mom loves cantaloupe.
Awesome.
Hi, mom, you're getting some cantaloupe socks one of these days. And then my other FO is, as it turns out, it's like almost the same colors as those socks, which was just an accident. But I was I have a craft closet that's down at the end of that dark hallway. Well, it's really just it's the closet in my apartment, aside from the one that has my clothes in it. So it's everything, including my craft materials, and it's been a big mess because I've just been throwing stuff in there. So yesterday I actually went in and put everything away where it belongs. So I'm feeling much calmer about that. But I found this bag of leftover yarn scraps that I put them in there when I finished a blanket, and I was like, oh, I'm going to make a hat out of these someday. And then I just like threw it in that closet. So when I was organizing yesterday, I was like, this is ridiculous. Just make that hat because it will take you 3 hours, which it did. It took me like 3.5 hours, and I made this hat.
Aww.
So it's Aran weight yarn, which is why it went so fast. And this is the Conversationalist, which is a free pattern. I got it downloaded from Ravelry. And so this is left over from a baby blanket that I made. Um, and I just knit some stripes into the pattern, and then I used literally all of this, what was still left, for the pom pom.
Wow. Aw.
So now that bag of scraps is out of my stash.
Yep, using them up.
Yep, using them up. So I'm not sure what I'll do with it. It's really, I don't want to put it on right now and mess up my hair, but it's pretty cute on. So, and I like the color, so I might keep it for myself or
Yeah.
as a gift. We'll see.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
I do need to block it. I didn't want to block because I knew it wouldn't dry in time for today, but where the rounds changes, it's a little messy. So if I block it, that'll probably block out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those are my FOs.
All right. So I I I think this is a almost FO as well, but I just wanted to show y'all something.
Okay. Oh, so we had some comments about what you should do with this last time.
So y'all see this? This is inside out.
Oh.
These ends have been woven in.
Yay!
So for anyone who's new to the podcast, it's a beautiful, beautiful top. It caught my eye once it came out. It's called the Leiden. It's in another issue of Pom Pom. And it's kind of it's knit in sections. It's modular. You know, it's been a while, but you start here, you twist and turn and pick up stitches and three needle bind off, and in the back you knit across and just all sorts of things to pull this together. So there were a lot of ends. It's I-cord bind off here. Last time I was like, should I even finish it? So I did. I picked up the stitches down here and finished off the bottom, which was really nothing. I didn't do an I-cord bind off on the bottom. I was like, forget that mess. So I did a regular bind off. And so I've been debating. I love this yarn. It's so soft.
Mhm.
It's the fiber company Luma. It's like it's wool, cotton, silk. and linen. It feels so nice, but it's too big. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm tempted to put it on so you can see. It's too big. And my gauge wasn't bad. I think my gauge was like 20.5, 21, and the pattern called for 22.5. So I
Oh
think,
yeah, so
but I think where I did go wrong and was honestly, and I checked the comments, it was unclear for me, is that when you pick up these stitches back here, she says, my understanding of what she says is that you knit it from that point, from the center point to the other center point, which isn't exactly, it just leaves bulk in the back.
mm,
And so, what my hunch was, or my gut was kind of telling me, I am a little warm, to do was to just knit to my size
mm,
because it wouldn't have mattered either way with the back. Um, and then I maybe would have had a better fit. But then the sleeves are kind of weird on me as well. And so Heather and I, I think I mentioned this on the last podcast. I guess what I'm trying to decide now. Yes, you're right. Someone did say it's so beautiful, you should turn it into a pillow. I do like that idea, but it doesn't go with our color scheme. Um, and then I was contemplating soaking it and putting it in the dryer and seeing what happens when it shrinks. But
mm-hmm.
then I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it, so I don't know if I want to ruin the yarn potentially or ruin it. So then my other two ideas are to rip it out and use it for something else, or I'm a part of this bartering and trading group, and so also just contemplating posting it on the bartering and trading group. But I'm torn about. I like the concept of the top. I'm torn about should I give it a shot? Because I wanted it to be baggy and loose.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
I
let's see
gotta
what let's
tell
see
you,
it.
I knit the third size, and the measurements for this turned out to be the fifth size.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it does definitely look like it's too big.
You see that? Oh, wait. See,
I mean, okay, so here's an idea. What if you, I mean, actually, it's not super, super. I mean, I can definitely tell it's too big because of how the top fits.
and then look.
It's like very flash dance right now.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder, so could you, if you have any of the yarn left, could you knit like a biggish swatch and then soak the swatch and then wash and dry it to see what happens?
Yeah, that's true. I have some left. I can't remember if I have a whole nother skein, but I definitely have some from what I was working on.
Because then that way you could at least see, is it going to felt or is it just going to shrink up a little bit or
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I like the pillow idea, but I do understand that if it doesn't match your
I
decor, like
know.
you don't want to do
I
it.
do too. I do too. But our couch is like a color is that?
Yeah. No, if it doesn't, you're not going to want it if it doesn't match your colors in your living room. Yeah. All right. Well, that's a bummer that it came out so much too big.
Yeah, and I had a feeling that I should have approached it the other way when I was making it. Um, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But I don't know because I like the colors, but I don't know if the tone is right for me either. So
Mhm.
anyway, that's the
To
latest.
be to be
Maybe
continued.
I was gonna say, well, that might be the last of it, but maybe to be continued as well.
Well, if you do end up trading it or bartering it, you got to show us what you ended up trading it for.
Yeah, that's true
Yeah.
too. So to be continued either way. I'll let you all know what I do.
Yeah.
All right.
Um, Speaking of leftover yarn, that reminded me that one thing I wanted to say about Twigs is that I had 4 balls of this pinky purple yarn, and I just barely dipped into the fourth, just in terms of
Mm.
yarn. If you're making it and you're getting the gauge,
Yeah.
you will need 4 balls of yarn, but I barely had to use a fourth
Of
one.
course.
So,
So that's good to know too.
yeah. Um, all right. Well, I've got really only 2 other things I'm working on. Are you
I
working on
have
anything?
one, just one.
So I'll show you. I mean, the first thing is just I am still working on this monstrous shawl.
Oh, yes.
You can see I'm getting much closer to being done. I only have 30 unwrapped stitches now, but so I have 60 rows left, but each row is more than
Oh,
200
yeah.
stitches. So I think I calculated I've got about like 10 more hours of knitting on this. So I'm getting pretty close.
Yep, you are.
This is the half and half triangle wrap. If you're new, I've been working on it for a while and it's getting close to being done.
When did you start it?
I started it, um, I started it when I went on vacation at the end of June. So I started it 2 months ago, basically.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. And I've been working on it. I worked on it pretty steadily for a while, and then now I've just been working on it kind of here and there, a few rows a day.
Well,
So,
yeah, with that many stitches. Stop trying to eat my yarn. Well, the plastic right now. Nice plastic.
but Elf doesn't usually eat your yarn, right?
No, he's pretty good about it. I also
Yeah,
I don't tempt him. I try to keep it out of his way.
yeah, that's funny. So the other thing I'm working on is I am working on a Jessie May pattern, the Flutter Buttshirt, and it is
Yeah.
a shirt with a pep. It's actually similar. I have an orange top I made last summer that's like a tank top with a peplum, and it's this is pretty similar. It's just a different gauge. This is fingering weight. So this is what I have so far. It just kind of looks like a blob, but this is the body, and then I'm working on the peplum part right now.
Yeah.
Um, this is Barocco Remix Light. And so it's a recycled yarn. It's like recycled cotton, silk. It's recycled basically every type of fiber in here. Acrylic. I really am loving this yarn. And I had to like hold myself back the other day from buying more of it because I was like, I love this yarn. I'm going to buy more. And then Wanda and I had just talked last week about how we needed to not buy any more yarn. So then I was like, no, enjoy what you have until more. Um, so this pattern, um, it's the way it's constructed is you start at the waist and you work up and you do the like plain part of the body and then the straps, and then you put on you bind that all off and everything. You make the bodice basically, and then you go back and you pick up the peplum and then you pick up a ruffle sleeve. Um,
And you're not
I'm
good.
not Yeah, I'm not gonna do the ruffle sleeve because I just don't think that looks that good on me. So I'm just gonna like do a couple rows of rib or something to finish that off. But I also, it's meant to be really cropped, which I don't want it super cropped. I want the bodice to end at my waist and then the peplum to, extend down like to my hips ish. So what I ended up doing is I started at the waist and I worked up for a bit. And then I actually put those stitches on hold because I'm using interchangeables. So I put those stitches on hold. And then I went back and I picked up for the peplum. So I'm going to knit the peplum to the length I want. It's hard to show. I'm going to knit the peplum how long I want it. And then I'm going to put the peplum on hold also so I can try it on. And then knit the body a little bit more to get it to the like length that I want it. So that's so that I can get the right fit. That's what I'm going to do. So, and then it's because it's a little harder to adjust after the fact because you make the whole because you're working from the bottom up, you would have to rip it all out to fix it if it's too short. So, anyways, that's just basically around and around and around. But I'm hoping to get it done soon so I can still wear it while it's still warm.
Yeah. I mean, you have time out here through October at least.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Nice.
once I get I think actually maybe today after we're done recording, I might actually try it on because once I get the body the right length, it's gonna go super quick because it's just a tank top.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll be done in no time.
Anyway, those are my other two projects. What's your
It's another good color. I like that color too. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I actually thought when I ordered it, it was going to be more pink. I thought it was going to be more like this color, um, but it wasn't. But I'm still happy with it.
Okay. Yeah, that's the online ordering.
Yeah,
Oh, and I was kind of joking because I bought yarn.
you did.
Yeah, just 50 grams of 50 grams of sock yarn and then some minis.
Nice.
'Cause
Let me see.
I need vanilla socks, and I saw these. Someone posted this yarn on Instagram, and I was like, I love it. I love it so much. So when I get it, I'll show you all. I can't.
Okay,
It was a on the whim. Wasn't supposed to, but I was like, it's just 50 grams of sock yarn. Anyway,
yeah,
so
that's nothing. That's nothing.
here's what I got. Trying to think about which. Well, anyway, so this I am finally knitting another shawl. This is for my mom. So when September rolled around, I was like, I've been saying I want to make my mom this shawl, and I bought this yarn thinking of her shawl. Let me see. It's the you know what because you bought this. It's the Knit Picks
Mhm.
wool worsted.
Yeah,
And this
that's
is
the upcycle, right?
yep, the upcycle Azul. Um, so my mom's favorite color is blue, all shades of blue, and her birthday is this month, and so it's not going to be done for her birthday. But I was thinking about her. I mean, I'm always thinking about her. But I'm getting ready for Christmas, so this is going to be a Christmas gift for her. So I'm starting now. This is not my color, but I'm enjoying working with something that's not my usual.
Yeah.
And I'm making her, so I mean, she's often chilly. So I'm making her the campfire cozy.
Mhm.
I want to try to show
Is
it.
that an Espace tricot pattern?
Yeah, it's by Espastrico. Can we see that?
So is yours going to be all one color, or are
Yeah,
you? Okay.
I'm doing all blue. And it's a pretty sizable shawl wrap. What do they refer to it as? Anyway, so it should keep her nice and cozy. It's on US 10's worsted weight yarn. And
Nice.
it's in sections. I like patterns where it's in sections because it's just kind of like it's 6 sections. It's kind of these milestones.
Mhm. Yeah. I feel like that keeps you going. To me, I get stuff like that done faster because it's like, oh, well, let me just start the next section.
Exactly.
Oh, kind of like stripes and socks. Yeah.
Exactly. It's similar to exactly the self stripe. Did you just say that? The self striping socks? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that deal. So yeah, that's what I have. That's what I have. The other two are basically done. So
Yeah.
that's my
Nice.
work right now.
Yeah, I've been wanting to go back. I'm looking because it's over here. My what's it called? Morgan cardigan that's knit out of that upcycle in this color. Um, I'm at the point where I need to do a tubular bind off on the body, and I just because I messed up the tubular bind off on my shifty. I've been like putting that off, but I want to do that so I can get started on the sleeves and get that done. So
Get it done. I hear that.
yeah,
Got to get over that hump.
yeah.
I've been thinking about picking my shifty because I'm generally, I have a good amount of yarn. I don't have a lot, as much as most people, but I get overwhelmed. That's even why I ended up finishing this because I just get overwhelmed if things are sitting and lingering.
Yeah,
Too many things.
too
Too
many
many.
things. I agree. I was when I was cleaning out the closet yesterday. I was on the phone with our friend Helen,
Hmm.
and she, I was like narrating to her while I was like talking to her about other stuff, and then I was like cleaning out the closet, and I was like, "Oh, I had found the bag with Shifty in it," and I was like, "Oh, I'm putting that on this like shelf in the back because it's in timeout and I don't need to get to
Yeah,
it." She was
yeah.
like, "What's wrong? Why is it in timeout?" I was like, "Well, because I messed something up, and I don't want
Go back to episode. No, I'm
to."
kidding. Yeah, I might pull that out and explore it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool.
lots of things to do. I think my only other plan is I do have a pattern from that same issue that Lodestar was in. I
Hmm.
have the yarn actually pulled out sitting next to the ball winder to wind up to make, I think it's called Passerine, maybe.
I'm trying to remember which
So,
one. I know we've spoken about it.
mhm. It has like a cable on the sleeves, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I noticed it was knit in pieces, which kind of appeals to me because
Hmm.
I don't know. I've been knitting a lot of things. This in particular in the round, which was like very big. So knitting in pieces seems like a nice break. So
Yeah,
yeah,
switching things up a bit.
yeah.
The other, I'm also considering, I've seen a couple of people talk about it, and I mean, folks have been talking about it forever, but I'm contemplating making, and actually making a love note now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I'm getting vibes from it. I think it just, all depends on how you make it and the
yeah,
cut and all of that, but starting to picture a love note in my life.
yeah. That's similar to ranunculus, which I'm always thinking about making. I like take it out of my queue and put it back in my queue. Take it out of my queue and put it back in. It's similar shape, right? Yeah.
Yep, yep. Similar shape vibe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's it for now, right?
All right. Yeah. Thanks everyone for hanging out with us again, and we'll try to be back in another month or so.
Sounds like a plan.
Bye.
Everyone.